Hey, it's Shannon from iHeartRadio Canada, joined by Ryland James. So good to see you. How are you?
You too. I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Okay, I'm so excited to talk about this song with Shaun Frank. I'm obsessed with it. I seriously, and I'm not even lying. I have not stopped listening to it. So I was really excited to hear that we get to talk about it. So how did you and Shaun first get introduced?
Thank you so much, first of all. Yeah, he honestly, it was one of those things where I was not expecting it. I was just kind of like, it was the end of last year, around like October or something like that. And I was just kind of working on new music. I've been writing, I've been in the studio a lot, just creating. And yeah, the one day my team reached out to me and they said, hey, there's this track that Shaun Frank has, and he was thinking of you being the singer, the vocalist on it. And so I listened to the demo of it immediately. And just I was like so into it. So it was kind of like a very simple thing like that. And I went to his place and recorded it. And then it came together very quickly, and I heard the mix back. And I was like, oh, this is so cool, because I've never done anything like that before, really. I've had like kind of a very organic gospel soul sound. So to jump into the kind of EDM-ish dance world, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I love that kind of music. I love listening to it. I've always pictured myself doing it at some point, but it's really cool to finally actually have a song out that is in that vein. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, how did it feel that Shaun thought of you for that, even though that's not something that you like the typical kind of music that you even sing?
Yeah, really cool. I mean, I've heard his music. You know, he's done so many amazing things, and he's always been, you know, a name in the industry that I knew of. Um, so very cool. I felt very honored, and he told me, you know, he specifically was kind of looking for somebody with more of like a that sings kind of that soulful style for this type of song. So I was like, oh, perfect. It's like serendipity. It worked out, you know, exactly kind of the way it was meant to, I think. So yeah, just really cool, and very honored to have been chosen for such. He's just such a great producer. So
Yeah, yeah, he really is. That's crazy. Do you think that that would inspire you then to like maybe venture out into maybe different styles of music?
100%. Like I said, I've been writing, you know, for a few months now, just kind of on my next project or wherever we're going with that. And yeah, some of it is starting to branch into this more like modernized production, I want to say, just some more like upbeat kind of stuff. I feel like the last project was very centered on some of it was like very emotional, like kind of that Adele sound that I was doing, and now I'm more venturing into like just yeah some different sounds, kind of genre bending, I guess, in a way. And yeah, very exciting times. I'm still experimenting with all of it, but this is definitely sort of indicative of where my sound is going, and could go in the future. Absolutely.
And it's been a big year for you. You got a Juno nomination, Breakthrough Artist of the Year. How's it feel?
It feels incredible. I mean, it's something that I've pictured my whole career as an artist, but you don't really understand or think to understand what it's like until it's actually like happening to you. And it's just like, I remember the morning that it happened. I remember knowing, oh, the nominations are coming out soon. I should probably look into that. I always look into it. I'm like, oh, maybe this year we'll see. But I was actually sleeping in that morning, and my mom called me, and like, why is she calling me? It's like she's like upstairs, and no, she called me, and she's like, oh, that's pretty exciting, like Juno nominee, you know, breakthrough artist of the year and pop album of the year. And I was like, oh wow, like it took a minute for me to process it. And I think I'm still processing it. Like, I don't think about it too much. If I think about it too much, it makes me really feel like I'm in some weird parallel universe that's like not my real life. But no, so exciting, so cool to actually have that. You know, of course, accolades are not everything, and the nominations and stuff are everything, but it's so nice to be recognized, you know, among so many other amazing Canadian musicians and artists who are also nominated. So yeah, just being nominated is such an honor. And it's, like I said, hard to think about, but when I do, it's a very proud, exciting moment for me, for sure.
Yeah. When you say it's like hard to think about, is that almost like imposter syndrome in a way where it's like feels undeserving?
100%. I struggle with imposter syndrome all the time. I'm like I don't feel like I've done enough to get here. Like, I don't feel like I'm like, I'm always feeling like I need to be like doing more and getting to that next thing. But It's so true. You have to like, sometimes you really do have to just kind of sit into it and realize like, oh wow, this is actually happening to me, and be present in it. And no, it's very cool. I try to be grateful for it all the time. But yeah, you hit that on the head. I definitely struggle with that a lot at times.
Yeah, I know that feeling of like sitting with it, or where you really have to like, yeah, live in that moment and just like let yourself enjoy it and let yourself like not feel bad for it or guilt or any of those other things. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Another thing worth celebrating is you coming out. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I love, as soon as I saw that post, I was like, yes, we got another good one on the team. Love it. Welcome to the club. How did that feel? Was there a specific moment where you were like, okay, I need to just like get this out there, or was it brewing for a while? Tell me about it.
100%. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like brewing my whole life pretty much. Well, until when I realized it. But no, it was something that um this whole like pandemic being at home situation, just so many parts of myself I was unlocking and getting into that I hadn't taken a time to really sit with. And that was one of them. I'd been like, faking it for so long, trying to fake a certain image, or trying to, avoid that part of myself. And this whole pandemic situation, just being at home, not having the influence of anybody outside, just kind of being on my own with like myself and my partner that I dated last year, and we just talked about it so much. And um, I finally just like earlier this year, I was like, I just feel like you never owe it to the world to tell anybody anything, but I felt like I did for some reason. Like I just felt like, not that I owed it, but that it needed to be something that was said. It just felt like I'm always talking so much about like authenticity and being honest, and I'm always talking about loving yourself and self-care, and being upfront. And I have like a lyric in my song about every time I try to be something that I'm not, like it just breaks my heart, kind of thing. And for so long I've been trying to be something that I'm not. And so I just finally felt like, it's time to just put it out there. And I like to be open and public with the people who follow. And I just felt it was important too, just especially with the way that I grew up and where I grew up. It's kind of like, I don't want anybody to have to go through that. And if I can be an example of somebody, if people can know, oh yeah, like Ryland, is in this community and he's queer, like then, it kind of opens that door, I think, hopefully for other kids or people who are growing up in maybe situations similar to what I did, where it was not so accepted and not so, it was kind of frowned upon, to maybe be like, no, it's okay. Like this is who I am, and I don't have any choice over the matter. And being yourself at the end of the day, like if you keep trying to repress it, if you keep trying, it will eventually someday like burst forth, and there's no way of stopping it. So it's just kind of like, just be you, be authentic, be the realist version of yourself you can be. And yeah, it feels amazing to finally just be out there. And it really was something that needed to come out, and it felt like the perfect time for it.
Yeah, you made a really good point in saying that you like don't owe it to other people, but I do think coming out is something that we like own or owe to ourselves, to like not have to live that double life or like live in hiding or any of those things. So
100%. Yeah, exactly. It really is like, you are the only person that you owe it to. You owe it to yourself to be the realest version of yourself. And I guess, yeah, for some people it's like, oh, they're okay with, just being open to the people that they come across in daily life. It's like, oh yeah, when you meet somebody, it's like you might have to have that conversation. But no, I just felt like I owed it to myself. I just felt just that feeling was in me, that intuitive gut feeling of like, I just have to say this outwardly. And I just feel like it's so much bigger than me, and being part of this community and stuff. And I just felt like all the stars were aligning for it, for sure.
and the way that you did it and the statement that you made on your socials, I think was so powerful. And there was like certain points that I really related to as well, because I grew up in a very similar environment where it was like very frowned upon, taught that it was wrong. And you made a point, I even made a note of it, where you said you were conditioned to hate yourself, and you like based on the homophobia that you grew up with. So that I just think is so important. So anybody that's watching should go check out your post. I think that's so good. Do you think that this has made or will make an influence on your music and your songwriting?
Absolutely, 100%. I feel like the last project I did, um, as authentic and real to me as it was authentic and real to me at a certain time in my life. And it was something I wrote some of it from experience, but a lot of it was very kind of just uh, like theoretical, I guess. It was very much like I saw people going through things, and it wasn't necessarily from my own personal experience. Whereas now I feel like going into sessions and writing, it's changed a lot, where I feel a lot more authentic, and I'm going through my own real experiences now. And I think it's really translating into me feeling more free to express. It's so crazy. You don't realize how much your creativity is kind of blocked and hindered when you're holding things back. It kind of translates to so many other parts of your life too. And I think I'm definitely feeling just a lot more creative, a lot more expressive in terms of who I really am, and not as afraid to reveal maybe more vulnerable parts of myself. So 100%, it's translating to my music. I already have songs, and in the background that I have as demos that are very, very personal and more personal than I've ever written. So yeah, it's very exciting times. That was also part of why I just felt like I need to just be open with the world about this, because it's coming out in my music now. It's just being honest, and the right people are drawn to that. So yeah, I'm excited for the next project and where the music is going because of it all.
Totally. And we're excited to hear it. So Ryland, thank you so much for taking the time. It's so nice catching up.
Thanks so much. You too. Hey, it's Ryland James. Listen to my new song with Shaun Frank, Save Me, on iHeartRadio Music.